So, moving along to Veritas 48's third question, how do you reconcile atheism with any ultimate meaning? Meaning implies intention and purpose, and since I don't believe the universe itself to be sentient, I do not believe there is an intrinsic ultimate meaning woven into the fabric of existence. Meaning requires the involvement of a subjective consciousness. It's a shortcoming of that consciousness to require some form of meaning. As we are beings of intention and purpose, we falsely project these qualities into the world around us, or demand them from the world around us. It's a type of anthropomorphism, but the world around us is not intentional or purposeful. It follows natural laws of cause and effect. Meaning is fundamentally human, which means it is fundamentally subjective. Meaning implies intention and purpose, and therefore meaning is whatever you intend it to be. Some people might find this a troubling conclusion, that there is no fundamental interwoven meaning in the universe, but I find it rather liberating. If there is no intrinsic meaning that's already been decided for us, or decided by some god or whatever, then we are free to decide what our own meaning is. I therefore suggest that meaning is a choice, and while you consider yourself a man of faith, Veritas 48, undoubtedly this is a choice that you make. Now, you might not perceive it as a choice on a day-to-day basis. Maybe it was the way you were raised. Maybe you can't conceive of thinking another way because it's the way you've always thought. But nonetheless, it is still a daily choice to follow your faith. And therefore, it is a choice to find meaning in that faith. But that doesn't mean that your meaning is any more significant or any deeper or any more valid than anyone else's meaning, any other choice that someone has made. I didn't necessarily make a choice to be an atheist. It's just the way I've thought for, as long as I can remember. So I don't feel like I have to justify having ultimate meaning any more than you would in your faith. I thought hard about this, and I think if you're looking for meaning out there, you're looking in the wrong place. You have to look inside. Going all the way back to Aristotle, life is a constant striving for happiness, a journey towards perfecting oneself, navigating the mean between virtuous deficit and excess. Everything in that journey is part of the ultimate meaning. The ultimate meaning is the human experience, the joy and the sorrow, the love and the hate, the pleasure and the pain, achievement and failure. These things are very personal, very human, and they come from within. They shape who we are. They shape our lives. They form the nature of each person's intimate meaning. A deep religious faith may be part of that meaning, but it is not required. Birth and death are the only requirements, and no one can fail to meet them. As surely as we all have life and experience what it means to be human, each of our lives has human ultimate meaning. Wow. So, moving right along to Veritas 48's fourth question, were you raised in a religious environment? There are two ways I could answer this question. The simple answer is no, I was not raised in a religious environment. The more abstract answer is yes, I was raised in a religious environment. In the United States, it's almost impossible to escape religion, what with Christmas and holidays and the media and politicians with religious agendas. Even though my immediate environment wasn't religious in nature, my parents were very open to letting me explore what the options were. So I did go to church until I decided that that wasn't something for me. I was actually even a choir boy for a little while. I'm sure my mother liked the vision of me in a gown, and I'm sure the priest liked it too. I'm also fascinated by Veritas 48's observation that most of the atheists that he encounters on YouTube did grow up in a religious environment, and they're the ones that have it out for Christianity the most. It begs the question that why people who were raised in a religious Christian environment would be the ones to rebel so heartily against it. In my view, an intelligent mind's natural tendency is to rebel against the unreasonable. A constant effort of faith is required to deny that tendency. But that faith is more a denial of the obvious than an affirmation of the obscure. And here is my degree in psychology. Veritas 48's final question is, what is the end-all goal of atheism activism on YouTube? Gee golly, Brain, what are we doing on YouTube?
Same thing we do everywhere, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
This seems like a fairly simple question, but Veritas 48 loads it down quite a bit. And I'm going to read what he says, and I'm going to read it just to make sure I get it right. He says, if existence truly ends at the grave and there's nothing on the other side, why are you sitting behind your computer and trying to convince people of something that ultimately does not matter in the long scheme of things? So after asking what the end-all goal of atheism activism on YouTube is, he then goes on to ask, why did you bother answering my questions? While it's true I don't firmly believe that there's anything that happens after death, that doesn't mean that everything that I've done in life suddenly is erased upon my death. Veritas 48 fails to realize that other people's lives do go on, and the things that I say and do can have an impact on other people, and that impact can reverberate through history if I should happen to have that influence, and there certainly have been people that have that. So my death certainly doesn't have any impact on the effect of my message, if it has an impact. So ultimately, it could very well matter in the long scheme of things. So Veritas 48 goes on to say, as a theist, I have a reasonable investment in the videos I make. I think that existence does not end at the grave, and I think that the decisions we all make now will affect what happens after we die. It's fine to disagree with that, and I'm assuming most atheists do disagree with that. First off, I'm not sure what being a theist has to do with having a reasonable investment in making YouTube videos, and I'm sure that anyone else can have just as much of an investment. However, I do think the statement a contradiction in terms, having the words theist and reasonable in the same sentence. Again, in the second part of what he says in that sentence, I don't see what believing in existence after death has to do with the idea that our actions have an impact on the future. In fact, I think you have to be an idiot to disagree with that statement. I can't imagine that many atheists agree that our actions don't have an impact on the future, since life does go on, for other people at least, after we die. What Veritas 48 has done in that last comment is to project his own notion that the lives of atheists don't have any meaning. Veritas 48 seems to believe that having life after death is the only thing that gives purpose to life. I think a stronger argument can be made that having no belief in life after death gives life more purpose because you have to make the best of the time that you have. Fanatical Muslims think that they get 73 virgins after death, so life doesn't matter because heaven comes after. Veritas 48 goes on to say, at the end of the day, whether I as a Christian was right or wrong, I've still fulfilled the atheist quest in life. To be happy and to live a long, genuine, well-lived life. If atheism is right at the end of the day, I've still lived a happy and content life, albeit with a false belief. I suggest, Veritas 48, that you have not fulfilled the atheist quest in life because you believe in God. It's kind of a minor point there. You also reveal that you feel the need to cover both bases in case you were wrong. I don't even believe in God for the just in case. There is one thing, though, that I think you got mostly right, and that's to be happy and to live a long, genuine, well-lived life. That certainly is the atheist quest in life, as I'm sure it's anyone's quest in life. The only difference is the genuine part. I don't think you can be genuine when you believe in a fantasy. To live a happy and content life. What more do you need? As for my specific part in atheism activism on YouTube, I don't consider myself an activist, and I'm not part of any organized atheist group on YouTube. I'm just a normal guy sharing his own opinion. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you found it interesting. And if you like what you saw, please subscribe, and hopefully I'll have more stuff to come.
This has been a production from Tremix World.